Hello, everybody.
Hi,
Hey, welcome to Thursday Shields Live. I am here. If you notice, my screen name is Tim and Lori. Lori's in the house. I'm in Davenport today. It's a little chilly. Got a little more snow than we wanted. Hope everybody had a great holiday. The weather wasn't great, so that just means everybody's sewing. And we are into that season. It's cold. You might as well be home sewing. But I hope everybody, like I said, had a good holiday. We did switch our days, so we're going to be on Thursdays now. And but again, I can't thank you enough for joining us, supporting us through the holidays, and all that good stuff. I am going to do a giveaway for next week, so comment, like, and share this Shields Live, and we're going to give away a brand new Luminaire box. Lori and I we were working on that. A brand new Luminaire box. No, but I will have some goodies. So please share, like, and comment. And but again, thanks for joining us. I think Jan's going to talk about the multifunction foot controller, which actually works on a lot of different models, even some of the just regular sewing machine models. So she will do that. But again, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Take it away.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah. Stop camera.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, Tim's in Davenport, so we were trying something new this time. That he's in Davenport and I'm here in Iowa City because we decided to change days. And I can bring him into this little software, so it's kind of neat. And he can be down there and I can be here and we can talk. And so it turns out really cool. So anyway, hello everybody. Happy New Year to 2023. Can you believe it? And we are going to talk about the multifunction foot controller today. So second, let me get the banner turned off here. Oh, it sounds like Judy made it. We had to shut the door for a few minutes because we had a little bit of a scheduling conflict. Okay, so let me go back to my comments. Okay, so we're going to talk about the multifunction foot controllers today. And I thought I get a lot of questions about this. Hi, Judy. Judy just got here. I have a lot of questions about the multifunction foot controllers. Oh yes, and yes, so make sure you comment, share, like, to get in the drawing for next week. We'll do a giveaway because Tim's said we're going to have a giveaway. Okay. So I get a lot of questions about this multifunction foot controller. A lot of the machines come with it. Well, some of the machines come with it, some don't. The Dream Machines and Destinies came with the multifunction foot controller. And this is one that was in a box. So that's actually the one that my machine uses. So the Dream Machines and Destinies came with this foot controller. Some of the new sewing only machines, the high-end ones, come with the foot controller now. They didn't used to, but I unpacked one the other day and it comes with the foot controller. A couple of there's the 2500 and the 3100 in the Brother, and then the Chorus and the Ballad in the Baby Lock, and one of them in each brand comes with the foot controller. I don't remember which one. But you can use this foot controller also on a lot of the smaller machines, like the Presto, that's the Baby Lock Presto, and the Brother PS500, the Baby Lock Brilliant, the Brother PS700, which is the next one up. Then there's the Lyric and the 950, and then the 1350 and the Soprano. So those also use it, plus a couple of the embroidery machines. So like the 3700D and the I think maybe the new 2850 D also does. So there's quite a few machines that you can use this little foot controller on. So there's two different ones. So the one for the bigger machines has two pads on it. Okay, so they have two pads. The big pad to drive it with, and then there's another key on the back, and then the little one here. Okay, now the smaller machines only have one option, so they just get the pad, the big pad. Okay, so for the smaller machines. So I'll show you both of them, and then this is what the box looks like. So none of the small machines come with the foot controller, so you can purchase it separately. So here's the little dual function foot controller. So you can only have one option on the heel. You know, you drive it with the front and on the heel for the smaller machines. And then the bigger ones give you two options. So like this one gives you an option on the big foot controller part and on the little pad. Okay. So, and then also now the new Luminaire 3 and in the upgrade to the older Luminaires to become 3s also come with a foot controller. So this is the upgrade pack for the Luminaire. And the foot controller for this one is gray. This is the foot controller for that machine. So this one doesn't work on the other ones. This is the one for the Luminaire. Okay. So this one, and then the other one that I'm going to show you today is actually not for the Luminaire. Some people were using it, and I think there was some problems with some people's machines, and so they really didn't recommend that one for the Luminaire. I remember Tim saying that he talked to Brother or Baby Lock, and they were not recommending it for the Luminaire because it technically worked, but it might have caused some sort of a problem. So anyway, they came out with a new one that is for only the Luminaire, and the new Luminaires come with it. And then those of us who had upgrades got it with the upgrade. Okay, so that one's gray, and I'm not going to use that one today because I'm actually using my machine, which is a 5200 embroidery machine. The 5200s and the 6200 use that foot controller. The 5100s, the embroidery sewing combos, will also use the foot controller, but it's the older one, the one that came with the Dream Machine and Destiny. So that's the one we're going to talk about mostly today. So let me get my camera switched over. Give me just a second here. Turn over my camera. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me all right. Okay, so I've got my brother, excuse me. I've got my brother 5200. It's my VM 5200 sewing embroidery machine. And this is the same foot controller that came with the Dream Machines and the Destinies, okay? Okay, so this one is the lighter colored one that has the darker gray in the it's like kind of cream colored with a darker gray pad in it. So this is the older one, but this is the one that works on my machine. So that's why I'm using that one today. Okay. And I've got it out of the box. Now this does not come with my machine, but you can use it with this one. So the first thing I wanted to show everybody, I get a lot of questions about this foot. The first thing I wanted to show you is that there's actually several pieces to it. Okay, can you see? There's the big foot controller. Okay, and then there's this there was a little baggie or two little screws. Okay, and then there's a plate, and then there's a little small pad. All right, so there's actually all these pieces to the foot controller. So when I see people bringing in their machines, often I just see this, and they don't have the whole foot controller put together. Okay, oops, sorry, my camera decided to go out of focus here just a minute. There we go. So this goes for both foot controllers, the one that goes with the Luminaire and the one that goes with the Dream Machines, Destinies, you know, the smaller sewing embroidery machines. Okay. This is how we're going to put it together. I just want to show people that you can put this together and then you have this larger foot controller. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over. Now I like to drive, just so you know, I like to drive with my right foot. If you want to drive with your left foot, just reverse what I'm going to do. Okay. So you can drive with your left foot if you want and put it together on the other side. I'm going to move this back just a little bit. Keeps wanting to go out of focus on me. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to turn this over. I want this one on the right. I'm going to put the little one on the left. I'm going to open up these little screws. Okay. And then this metal bar goes between the two pieces. So the big end of the bar goes into the main part of the foot controller, the big foot controller. And it kind of slides in here. There's some little things right here. And it just kind of slides in. And then they give you 3 holes. Okay.
So depending on, like how wide your feet are, how big your feet are, you might need to, move it out and put it on the outside notch. There's a couple choices on the other side. I usually put mine in the middle. I don't have real big feet, so I usually put mine in the middle. So it just depends. You may have to try it to see which works for you. And then you take one of the little screws, and you can see there's a little hole there that I'm going to put it into. Oops, sorry, it fell out. Slide this back in there. Get it lined up with the little screw hole. And these are like little thumb screws. So we're just going to put this in here and screw it in. Okay. And the big end of the little bar goes into the big foot controller. And then I'm just going to take my little nickel and just give it a little turn just to tighten it up a little bit. Yes. So they do come with the upgrades, yes, but this is not the one that comes with the upgrade. This is the older one that is for the other machines. This is the one that works with my machine. No, that's why I'm putting this one together. Okay. All right. Because this one's model U. Let's see. I think they have different model numbers. We'll check. I'm going to look at the back of the Luminaire one. Yes. So see, this one's model X and this one's model U. Okay, so they're really not interchangeable from what they've told us. So you want to be using the correct foot controller. Don't use your old one. Use your one that came with your upgrades if you got an upgrade. Or have a new Luminaire or Solaris Vision 3. Okay, so I've got that side put on. Now the little side also attaches to this bar. Okay, so you can put this on, there's two options of the holes over here, and depending on how far apart you want this, and I usually put mine on the outside. You can put it on the inside, but then they're kind of close together, so I like it on the outside. So I'm going to put it on the outside space. I'm going to take my little thumb screw and put it in there. And then I'm going to tighten it up. Okay. So there's my two pieces. All right. Now there's some other things we need to do. Oh, guess what? Jan put it together wrong. Look at that. I knew I would do that, guys. You have to watch me. I put it together backwards. I want it the other way. So then obviously we're going to get to do it again. You know how many times I've done that? Every time I put these together, I do this. Because I think, oh, I have it all ready to go, but then I have to turn it upside down, and that's what gets me messed up. So we want this one over here. Like that. Now we got it. Okay. Sorry, but you get to watch me do it again. It's always good to watch it again, isn't it? I always do that. I've done that. I don't know how many of these I put together, and probably half of them I put it together backwards. I did that intentionally. Yes, I'm an educator, Lynn. I did it intentionally so you could watch me do it again. But you can run it the other way if you want. If you like to run your machine with your left foot, you can do it that way. Okay, so now we got it right. This looks good. Okay, let's put this one on. So yes, I did that intentionally. No, I do that. I've put so many of these together, and I don't know how many times I've done that. So I put this one in the outside hole. So it's farther apart. Okay, so this one's in the center, and you can move it all the way out if you want. It just depends on the person, and how large your feet are and how far apart you want them. So you just kind of have to adjust it to you. Okay, so I've got those in there. I'm going to turn this over. So now we got it right the way I wanted it, with this on the right and this on the left. Okay, but there's something else we need to do. They need to be able to talk to each other. So I'm going to loosen that little tie, and these two pieces need to talk to each other. So this one has a little cord, and it's going to plug in over here like that. Okay. So now the two pads can talk to each other, and then of course we've got the regular cord that's going to go into the machine in the foot controller jack. So I'm just going to take a little link. I don't need the whole thing. I'll leave it up on the table so you can see it. But you guys are supposed to be watching me, Make sure that you holler next time you see me doing something stupid, okay? How many times have I done that? Oh, well, you have to fix the oopses, right? Oopses are good. Okay. All right, so I'm going to pull this back, my machine back here a little bit. And then I'm going to show you, okay, so when we plug this in over here in our regular foot controller jack, okay, And then this is the one big question I get is, you know, how do you put it together? So we got it put together, and this is what it should look like when it's done. And you should have it plugged in. The little wire should go to, sorry, my camera's real slow about focusing lately. I don't know why. I have to go check that out. And so we got this plugged in so they can talk to each other. And then everybody, the next question is, well, how do I make this work? So there's options, okay? So on this foot controller, we have the option of pressing down on the heel and it will do something, okay? Every time you press down on the heel. And then also there's an option when you press down on the toe of this one, okay? But there's options of how you can set them up the way you want it. And that's what I really like about this. So I'm going to go ahead. Give me a second. I got to get my arm to bend a little bit. I'm going to go into the settings page. And this is for all the machines. You're going to go into the settings page. And, oh golly, I'm not sure which page it is on mine. On my machine, this is the VM5200. On my machine, it's on page 2, okay? And it's going to say multifunction foot controller. And then it's going to give you the picture of the foot controller here. And then it's going to give you your options. So now I can tell it what I want it to do. So let's say, okay, so this one is pointing to the big pad on the heel. So you have the options of needle, position, up, down. So right now, that is what it's doing. So if I pull back here and I press down on the heel of the big pad, see how the needle went up and down? If I push it again, the needle goes up. Okay, so that's what it's doing right now. I also have the option of a single stitch. So if I press now, I have it selected on single stitch. If I press on the heel, now it's going to take 1 stitch on my machine. And if I press it again, it's going to take 1 stitch. Okay. And I happen to have a zigzag chosen, so my machine's going back and forth. Okay. So it's taken 1 stitch. That's one of the options. Another option is a reverse stitch. So if I now press the heel over here, put this so you can see the needle, now it's going to back up. So it just backed up a stitch. And just backed up another stitch, okay? So it depends on what you're doing, what you're going to want to set this at, okay? So let's see what else we got. We got reverse stitch. We've got presser foot up and down. Oh, okay, well that's cool. Let me do one thing. Let me just turn this off so it doesn't interfere with anything. So presser foot up and down. Okay, so now if I push my heel on my big pad, there goes the presser foot up, presser foot down. Okay. So there's lots of options. So let's see what, there's another one. Okay. So my favorite option is the last one. This was one that was added in like an upgrade quite a while ago, and it's just no setting. So for my foot to use this, it's better that I have the big pad set at no setting, because then if I rock my heel back, you can see over here that it's not doing anything. So I'm hitting that button and it's not doing anything. Okay. All right. So that's the options you have here. So normally when I set my foot controller up, I set up the big pad with the heel to the no setting. Okay. Now let's look at this other one. So this other one points to the little pad. Okay. And the thread set right now, it's set at thread cutting. Oh, well, that's cool. So if I touch the little pad right here, I'm just going to put my finger down on it. Watch what happens. It's going to cut the thread. Yes, that's the one I usually use for cutting. I like the thread to cut with the little one, because if I set it on the heel, they used to default at the thread cutting, and then every time I rocked my heel back, I'd cut my thread like right in the middle of my seam. So that's why there's a method to my madness here. I do like to have my cutting feature on the left small pad. Okay, but we also have other options here. we can also do the needle up and down. So if I push this little pad now, needle down, needle up. Okay, so maybe that's what works better for you on the small pad. We also have single stitch, just like we did before. So we have the same options on all of them. So here's a single stitch. It's just going to take a single stitch. I press it again. It's going just one stitch. Okay. All right. So there's a single stitch. And you may need to change these occasionally. So like, again, reverse stitch. So if I hit my little single pad down here, reverse, reverse. Okay, so it's going back a stitch. Okay, and then press your foot up and down. So it's the same options are available for either pad. But I have certain things that I like better on each one. So I usually choose, and then of course you can use no setting as well. So what I normally do is I like to set my multifunction foot controller up for the large pad to have either no setting, or I like the needle up down is what I usually, one of those two options is what I put on the big pad. Okay. And then on the little one, I like thread cutting. Okay. So give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to sew a couple things using the foot controller. Give me a second and put it down here on the floor. So you can see this thing in action. So we've got it set up in the settings, and then I'm just going to click close for my settings, and now it's set up the way I want it right now. And if I need to change it, I just go back to the settings to change it. All right. So right now I have it set up that I can press the heel and see how my needle, I'm just pressing the big pad and on the heel and see how my needle goes up and down. So now I like that because let's go back to a straight stitch here. What I like to do is I like to start my fabric. So I like to start with my fabric under my foot, and I like to lower my needle into it. So I can just take right now I've got needle up and down on the heel of my big pad. So I'm just going to drop my needle. So then I don't have to touch the buttons up here. So I was always touching my button up here. So I can just rock back my heel. Okay. And then I can drive with the front. So I'm driving with the front. Okay. And let's say that I'm ready for my next one. I want to drop, turned my pivot off. So just let me go ahead a couple of them. And then I like to drop my needle, but I can't quite get it in there. So I'm going to rock my heel back and I can get my needle up, and then I can drop my needle again. There we go. So then you don't have to touch a bunch of buttons on the machine. Now, I remember I had my cutter set up on the little pad. So I'm going to touch with my left foot. I'm going to touch the little pad and it's going to cut. So I didn't have to touch anything on the machine. So isn't that cool? So I can start here again. Okay. And I'm going to drop my needle into my fabric. I'm going to go forward to the end. And then I'm going to stop. I'm going to touch my left foot and cut. And and my hands are all right here, right? You can see my hands. So this is such a handy little thing. I like the needle up and down. I often do put the needle up and down on the heel, or I put no setting. It just depends on what I'm doing. But the needle up and down on the heel works, because then the machine doesn't really do anything. Like if you rock your heel back in the middle of the sewing, let me show you here. I always have to think where I'm at. So let's say I accidentally in the middle here rocked my heel back. It's just gonna stop and put the needle down. So that's fine, because then I can put it up and start again. But that's what happens is sometimes I get my heel rocked back and then it just stops and it puts the needle down. So that one works good for me. And at the beginning and end of my seams, I can use the needle down. So I'm going to go ahead and touch this one. Okay, and I touch the left-hand side and then I cut. So isn't that cool? So how many people have not been using both pads on their multifunction foot controllers that they have? So a lot of you, I have the Innovus 2450. Does it work? Yes, it does, Sandy. Yes, it does. It does not come with it, but it works with that one. So like the 2450s, the new 2500s, the 3100s, the 3050s, yes. So all of those bigger sewing machines it also works on. And it's the same one that I'm using here, okay? Yes, I am using both feet, Paula. I just use my right foot for the, oh, okay, you can. I use both feet, and I like to use the little pad with my left foot, sort of like using a clutch in a straight transmission car. So that's what I like to do, okay? But what I like now, so I've got it set up with the needle down. I like that because then I can lower my needle. I always lower my needle into my fabric before I start. You know, I always lower my needle originally, and I can just push my heel down to do that with that. Or I use no setting on my heel, because if I get anything else on there, I always am stopping in the middle, and I use my left foot to cut. Okay, and then I don't have to push all the buttons. Okay, so how many people are going to get their foot controllers out and put them together? I mean, a lot of you may have never even taken them out of the package, or if you did, you just took the big piece and not the little piece. So now you can use them, both of them. Okay, so again, go into your settings if you need to change something. I just want to show you one more time where it's at. Here's the settings. Mine is on page 2. And so Sandy was asking about the 2450. It's very much like this machine, Sandy. It's actually the same kind of sewing machine. Mine just happens to embroider also. But it's going to be on probably one of the first couple pages. And you can adjust it again. So if I want to set this then to no setting, you know, the big pad, I want to go to no setting. I'm just going to say no setting. And then I'm going to leave my left one on thread cutting. Yep, you just got Lynn. Yeah, Lynn got her upgrade today and got her foot controller set up. So, and now the gray one is a little different shape. I was going to pull this out so you could see it a little bit better. It's a little different shape. They kind of changed the size. It's a little shorter down here than the original one, and it's also a little bit more curved. So I think it would be. I think it might be a little bit easier on the heel because it's not quite so tall. Okay, so this one is the one for the new one for the Luminaire. It's kind of gray, light gray. Okay. Oh, Barb, are you going to try it out now? Oh, yes, you can get it. Sandy, I'm not positive if this is one of the items. I don't know that I can say how much it is on camera. Some things are not allowed online. So if you could either text me or message me, I will tell you how much it is. Okay. Because some items, you know, they don't allow us to tell it how much it is. Okay. So I have this one at home with my Luminaire, and then this is the one that will work with my machine that I have here at the store. Okay. So is that making sense to everybody? So this is the bigger machine's foot controller, the one that has the 2 pads. This is the one for like all the bigger sewing in and embroidery machines. Okay. All right. So yeah, Sandy, can you just message me on Facebook and then I'll message you back? I won't remember. If you could just message me quick and say, hey, remind me how much it is, so I won't forget. Okay. All right. So there's the first foot controller. That's the one for the larger machines. Okay. This one happened to be a Brother one that we had in stock, so that's why I had Brother. The Baby Lock ones say Baby Lock here. Okay. So now the other machine I have here, if you give me a second, I'm going to move my camera down a little bit because I got 2 machines on the table. Yeah, I've had several questions about this lately, and I decided this would be a good day to do this. We just need to talk about this foot controller a little bit. All right. I move my computer a little closer. Okay. So then this is a dual function foot controller. So this one only allows you to do 2 things with the foot controller. This one is the heel, okay? And then of course, driving it on the end. So this works with, yes, this is recorded, Sissy. Yep, it'll be here on our Facebook page, on Shields Sewing's Facebook page, and it'll also be on my YouTube channel. Okay, so both places. So these smaller machines, these are the machines that are like the 9-inch ones. So there's the, the Brother is the PS500, 700, the BQ 950, and the BQ 1350. This happens to be the 1350. Okay. It also works on the Baby Locks then. So it'd be like the Baby Lock Presto, the Baby Lock Brilliant, the Baby Lock Lyric, and the Baby Lock Soprano. Okay, so those smaller machines. It also works on the embroidery machines. So like the 3600D and the 3700D, which is the newer one. And then it works on, I read on the back, it works on the new 2850, the 2750 and 2850, which would be like the new Bloom. So it must work on that little bit smaller one too. That's one I didn't realize. It showed it on the box. But there are a couple of stipulations with this one. This one works if you're using one of the smaller machines like the Presto or the PS500. It only gives you one option. You can't change the option. So the option that it gives you with the heel is needle up and down. That's the only thing it does. So if you have one of those machines, when you press back on the heel, it will just needle up, needle down. Okay. So it doesn't give you any options. But the rest of the machines, since they're more computerized, they have a settings page, and they will give you more options. So we're going to look and see what the options are for these machines. Now, this one does not have the pad, the little pad. It just has the big foot controller one. Okay. Now, I want to show you, this one's a little different. Let me bring this a little closer here. This one's just a little different. That when you go into the settings page here, it looks like the piece of paper with the corner turned down, just like on the other machines. This one's got a button though. Now, when I go down through here, this one's going to say something different, and it's going to say heel kick. And but it's not here. So the difference with these machines is you have to remember to plug in the foot controller. As soon as you plug in the foot controller, the machine will bring up that option to change it. Okay, so if it has never been plugged in to that machine before, it won't be here. And there's an empty spot. I don't know if you notice it. There's an empty spot right here, and I think this is where it comes up. And I think, as I remember, it says heel kick. So let's go ahead and just go out of the settings. I'm going to plug the foot controller in now. Okay, and see if we can find it. So now we're going to go back to the settings page. So if you can't find it, if you just open up your machine that's similar to this and you can't see it, plug the foot controller in, and then it makes it wake up. All right, so let's see. Oh, look at there, right underneath the initial position, it says heel kick. Okay, so now this one, so I'm going to go down and I'm going to make the heel kick highlighted. And this one's going to give me a couple of options. So right now it's set up as default. And I don't know if you can see it very well, but it looks like a needle up and down. Okay. So now if I touch the heel, and if I pull back just a little bit, I think you can see the machine. There you go. If I press the heel, my needle went down, and now my needle is going up. Okay, so that's what the first one is. So this one also has some other options, but you have to change them a little differently. I'm going to change my options with the sideways buttons on these machines. So I'm going to go to the next one, and this one is just one stitch. So that's another option. It'll just take one single stitch, just like the other one. So give me a second. I'm going to put some fabric under here. So I'm just going to make it. I'm going to go ahead and touch. I'm going to go ahead and touch the heel, and I've got it set up for one stitch. So it's going to drop that down. If I do it again, see, it's just going to take a stitch. Okay, so that's the same options as on the other machine, but we just have to do it a little differently, change them a little differently in the settings. Okay, so that was one stitch. Let's see what the next one is. This one is, oh, This is reverse. So it's got the little reverse symbol on it. Okay. So now if I touch the heel, it's going to go backwards. Okay. Goes backwards 1 stitch. Okay. So that's what it's doing. All right. So these are the same settings. This one gives me all the options. And then here's the cut. So if you want it to cut and I touch the heel, you turn this just a little bit again. Okay. Then it cuts my thread. All right. So I don't usually use that one because I have a tendency in the middle of if I rock my heel back too hard, then I cut. So I don't normally use the cutting one on my heel. So let's see what the next one is. Oh, this one, and then we're back to needle up and down. So this one just gives us 4 options. This one gives us the thread cutting, the single stitch, the reverse stitch, and the needle up and down with most of the machines. If you have like a Presto or a PS500, it only gives you the needle up and down option. Now, if I were to set this one for myself, that is the option I would choose on this machine. So give me a second here. It's got to unplug the foot controller. I've got the cord wrapped up around it. We'll show you the demonstration on this machine just like we did the other one. Okay, so let me pull this a little bit closer. And then again, this is set up. I'm going to hit OK over here to close my settings page. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, again, I like to drop my needle at the beginning of my stitching. So I'm going to drop my needle. I just rocked my heel back and I dropped the needle. And now I'm going to drive it with the front. And it's going to go forward. Oops, I got to turn there we go. Turn it up a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to go down to the end. And then this one is going to drop my needle, but I would like to raise it then. And then you can either pull out or I can hit the cutter. Now this one does not give me 2 options. I only can choose 1 with this particular foot controller. Okay. But this really works well. And I like the needle up and down feature. So I use either one. But because I use and then if I happen to go back, see, it just stops and drops the needle in the middle. So I don't have to, I don't end up cutting by accident or something. Now, if you don't have trouble like rocking your heel back, choose the cut on the back if you like that. Wow, you waited so long to get it out of the box. So the only problem that I've ever had with this foot controller is I kind of have short feet. And I find it a little bit hard because my foot, I can't get my heel down to give me a little bit of a pivot. So I think I'm going to try something. One of my friends said he'd help me build a little something that would help me put my heel on a hard surface. And then I think I'll be okay with it because I have a little trouble with this sometimes because my foot cannot rest on the floor. So I have a little bit of trouble sometimes. But when I don't put the cut on the heel, I just put the needle up and down, it doesn't bother me too much. Okay. So get those foot controllers out and play with them and see what works for you. Okay, so here I am. It's going to drop the needle, but I want it raised now. So because I wanted to put maybe something in under my foot. Okay. And it drops the needle, and then I can raise it with my heel. Okay. So this is a cool little invention. I know people that really like them, especially the people that really like them. Some of the people that do like free motioning and stuff, that they don't want to have to let go of things when they're working and sewing. So then they can do more with their feet, and they don't have to let go with their hands to take the chance of dropping something. So this is the foot controller for some of the smaller machines. So if you have one of these sewing only machines or some of the smaller embroidery machines, you have the option of a multifunction foot controller, or in this case, dual function is what they call this one. And if you have the Luminaire, there's the new Luminaire one, and the new Luminaires come with the foot controller. And then the upgrades come for the people that have the older ones. And then if you have some of the bigger sewing machines, the Dream Machine Destiny, this is the foot controller you're going to have. And it is a multifunction. Okay. And I'm sorry I put it together backwards the first time. But anyway, you got to see it on the left and the right. So that way you got to see it both ways, didn't you? Okay. So are there any questions about the foot controller? I'm going to switch my camera back up here. I just thought that would be a fun little easy thing to talk about today. I just get a lot of questions about it, and I know a lot of people just don't use them. So give me a second. I'm trying to find my right camera.
All right. A lot of people don't use the foot controllers, and I think that if you get them out and start playing around, you will find a setting that will really work for you. Okay. So this is the one that some of you will need. Some of you will need the Luminaire. So the Luminaire has its own. Okay. And this one's for most of the other machines. And then for the smaller machines, it's this foot controller, just the single one. Okay. And it was so cool because I never realized that they had one for the, like all the way down to the PS500, which is, you know, which is like the, that one is kind of like the entry level with the bigger electronic machines. And then you can use this with that too. You don't have any options. You just have one option, but that's the one that I would use anyway, the needle up and down. So I think that's really cool. All right. Okay. So I'm not sure what we're going to do next week. I'm at the point that I want to do the edge to edge quilting with the Luminaire upgrade. Okay. So almost everybody has their upgrades now. So it's, I can do it. I didn't want to like tease people and then half of you not have your upgrades, but I think almost everybody has their upgrades now because we got a bunch in right before Christmas. And then, but now get your foot controllers out and try setting them up and see what works for you. But then next week, I'm either going to do that. And there's one other thing I thought about. So we may do some work with the digital dual feed. That's the other one. Yes, I'm definitely going to do edge to edge, but I need to look at my weekend because I'm going to have to do some practicing with that. That's going to take me a little practicing because I have to, you know, I have to get some stuff ready and all that. So I may not do that for maybe 2 weeks yet. So I haven't decided. Okay. So if you have any questions, go ahead and message me through Facebook, call me at the store, call Tim at the store. And if you want foot controllers, we'll, you know, if you don't have one with your machine, you know, call us and we will order them for you. I have a couple in stock. So if you haven't got your upgrade for your Luminaires, we should be getting some more in hopefully. And then you can get that foot controller as well. So thanks so much for joining us for the new year. Make sure you comment, share, and like to get into the drawing for next week. So we'll have a drawing next week. So thanks everybody. Remember Thursdays at 2. We're going to do Thursdays at 2 now. So, okay. Thanks everybody. Have a good day.